what I have seen editors do is just get technical.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem that these people have, right? And they don't solve for it at all.
You need to really shift the way you look at things from an editor perspective to a problem solver perspective. Welcome everybody to another episode of Frame by Frame. I know we are a little late. It's been almost 2 months. I felt sick. I'm still sick, by the way. But today's episode, I really wanted to focus upon the monetary aspect of editing. Now, I've been an editor. Martin has been an editor for God knows how long. One thing that we have realized over the course of, editing for 7 years, creating videos for God knows how long, it's incredibly difficult for you to differentiate between which direction should you take in terms of if you want to make more money consistently, right? And over the course of year, what me and both Martin have been able to figure out is how to position ourselves and how do we think and how do we approach the editing gigs that we do take once in a while. I don't know when I took the editing gig, but it's been a very long time since we've done that, but I know for a fact that there's a protocol that you can follow that can help you land these editing gigs that one, pay really well, that second, that help you get these leads consistently and constantly upskill yourself and constantly you can up the price of your skills as well. So how do we do this? Well, before we go forward, I want to start with a little bit of a story. The reason behind why we are doing this episode in the first place. There's a Reddit called r/editors, and there's been multiple posts in regards to this where these new editors have been very confused in terms of, hey, whenever I try to apply for a job, one thing I'm consistently facing is they're looking or they're expecting me to have bunch more skills that do not necessarily fall in the editing category. Like they'll be like, hey, listen, I really want you to, design something. And the editor will be like, hey, I've never designed. And when he does design, because, the boss has expected and the design does not, come up to a certain level, either he gets fired or he does not get the kind of promotion or kind of money the person was expecting. Or they'll ask them to do motion design and they'll be like, I've never dealt in After Effects. I don't know After Effects. I've just understood Premiere Pro and that's something I'm really good at. And this is a sentiment that has been going in the editing community for the past, I think, couple of years. And nothing wrong in that, because a lot of these editors who ask these questions are very new to the space. They do not understand how do you maneuver the space. So that is what I really want to cover today in terms of what your mentality should be when you're approaching a job or when you're approaching a client, to be able to subsequently increase the amount of money you're making. And the bottom line, which pretty much is common for any and all jobs that you're going to be taking in any field, is you need to really start focusing as you're a problem solver and not an editor.
I agree.
Because this is what we have noticed a lot of the time, right? I was talking to this designer who does around 20 LPA a year. And he's a freelancer and he says, I work only once or twice a month, maybe a couple of weeks, and then I make enough money to be able to, chill for the rest of the month. And that is a lifestyle that I really enjoy. I do not want to work excess. I do not want to work every day. I don't want to go to the office. I really want to work like a lion. I want to work when I work, and I really want to work like crazy. But when I'm relaxing, I just want to rest and I want to enjoy my day. That's what he really wanted. And the approach he takes towards that is his game plan is very different. He will approach clients, he'll do outbounds and stuff like that. In fact, he has a whole team for him to do that. But how he does it, he positioned himself as, he'll talk to these marketplaces. For example, you have a Kirana store, or you have a grocery store, or and these grocery stores that have been here for a very long time. He's like, I'll help you scale it up. I'll help you increase your sales by just revamping the way your outside shop looks. So he's not an architecture, by the way. He's not an architecture. He won't create or renovate your house or your place. He just changed the way your packaging looks like from the outside. And what he does, and it's beautiful how he does it, he'll approach these hyper local, but they're pretty big. They've been in the business for like 10-15 year grocery stores, Kirana stores. And he'll be like, your boarding and this and your packaging, let me redesign it. And he will go to these guys. He'll talk to them and he'll convince them into a client, and he'll change the outlook. Okay, so let's say it's Ocas's Kirana store.
Yeah.
So he'll look around where your Kirana store is positioned, okay, and then he'll try to understand what kind of aesthetics will ideally bring out the most of the clients to come here again and again, and even from the outside. And you can he'll help you do all of that. And he did recently one in Bangalore, and he made it look very beautiful. He understood the Bangalore aesthetics very well.
Yeah.
He made it very inherent to the South Indian culture. He made it look very, very nice. And he got money from that. So what he does, and I was talking to him like, why do you do this and what is your approach? He's like, listen, I solve real world problems from design. I don't call myself a designer. I'm not a designer. I just solve real world problems through design. In fact, I am not even as good of a designer as many of my peers. I've never been to any sort of design college. I've never done a design cohort. Right? This is something that just came about, and it turned out I'm really good at it, and I'm able to do it again and again consistently. And I have clients from all over India.
Understood.
Right? And he does nice 20 LP a year, sometimes on, sometimes off, but the business is growing well. And he can choose to, do bunch of other things if he chooses to, if he wants to expand. The bottom line I'm trying to get at here is, if you want to subsequently increase the amount of money you make and you want to do it on a consistent basis, you really need to give up this mindset that you have that I am an editor,
Yes.
or I'm a designer, or I am XYZ. No, you're not. You have a skill, right, that you're either really good at or you're average at, whatever. But you need to figure out how you can use this skill to solve real world problems. Right? For example, if let's take this same example, the story that I've told of this person.
Yeah.
Let's say if the Kirana store, let's say Ocas's Kirana store, hired a designer to revamp the outside ka banner. Okay, will I pay the same amount that this guy charged? No, I won't. Why? Because I'm just asking you to do this specific thing. I've already thought the process, and whatever my belief behind it might be, it'll make me look good, it'll increase the brand, might scale, increase the sales, whatever. Right? What this person does is, he doesn't even let you think about that problem. He's like, listen, I know your problem. Your problem is you want more money, correct? He's like, yeah, let me solve it. And I'll just solve it by revamping the design. And this is the amount I'll charge. And that is how he does it. Even for let's AV, when we started AV, way back in
2022, yeah.
Yeah. You remember we tried bunch
Yes,
of videos. We tried a vlog. We tried an information tour type.
We tried
videos.
different niches basically.
Yeah, we tried a lot of different. And then we finally landed upon the kind of videos that we do at AV. But even then, we never really went with this thought process ki we will be the really good editing, channel. I had a skill, and the problem that Varun and I really wanted to solve was that, hey, listen, we want to build distribution.
Yes.
We need to, get really, the tier 1 audience. We have to speak in English. I want to get super educated. And the reasoning behind it was obviously that not all viewership is equal, right? Because you can get hundreds of crores of views, but because India is such a developing country, and it's, we have tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, and if you guys have watched Indus Valley Report, and if you guys don't know, like anybody who makes, if you guys have a car and AC, and
if you go to a school which costs you above 12,000 rupees a year, that means you are in the top 13% of the country.
Yeah. So the stat is crazy.
Yeah.
The purchase power disparity that India suffers through is incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
Like I can't sell an iPhone to a tier 3 audience, right?
Agreed.
And so the reason behind AV was to build a distribution that allows us to either sell anything to the top percent of India, because the top 1% either will be educated or whatever, right?
And I also think as you came to the point of understanding how the problem is solved, right? What I have seen editors do is just get technical.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem that these people have, right? And they don't solve for it at all, right? When I go meet new editors, they'll be like, हाँ मैं Premiere में ये ऐसा transition कर सकता हूँ, मैं ऐसा effect कर सकता हूँ. I'm like, what is the problem that you're trying to solve in the first place, right? I spoke to like one of my friends who actually runs a podcast, right? And he was like, bhai, I require some editors, and I'm looking for something that can actually increase the amount of viewership that I'm getting.
Yeah.
Right? And he was like, yeah, I'll hire some editors, and it may probably solve the problem because I'm not able to push more content. I looked at the content first. I was like, first things first, the problem is with your content. It's not the problem with the editing at all, right? And when he was saying, okay, I'm going to talk about XYZ, how much have you delved deep, and how much have you experimented with that XYZ, or have you combined it together?
Yeah.
Right? That's the problem. And these people, instead of trying to play around with more content buckets, they just stick to one thing.
Correct.
Right? And that is something that I don't work with, because at the end of the day, we also ran so many experiments. We did vlogs, we did the information type videos, we did Indus Valley. Indus Valley worked, right? But if we were to done it on AV, it would have not worked. It worked on the Varun Maya channel because he had that authentic distribution, right? So what I feel that people get stuck doing technical. If I don't master the tool, I'm not going to be good at it.
Yeah.
That is such a lie.
Yeah. Like what you just explained is so, and we will get to the topic that we were talking about, but what you just explained is the essence of what a really good high-paying editor is.
Yes.
Like when the person came and he talked to you about, hey, listen, I want to double my viewership or whatever, and you were like, okay, I can give you the editors, I can get you editing, whatever, but it won't solve the problem. So you were able to, because you've been in the market for so long, you've been in the industry for so long, you understand that this is how you solve the problem. And now if you were to go to that person and be like, okay, I can double the viewership, but not this way.
Yeah.
This is how we can do it. If you can do that successfully, consistently, then you will make money one way or another. There's no doubt about it.
Agreed.
But what I was talking about is Indus Valley, and the reason we did the distribution play. So the reason behind it was that you need the top 1% of India to be able to, if you want to sell to it. And that was the problem that we were trying to solve. The idea behind it, so we need to attract the top 1% of India. That's the problem that we need to solve. The way we approached it was, okay, so then let's double down on incredible production.
Yeah.
So that people believe like, oh my God, whenever they look, they go, oh my God, I really like this channel. That's one way to attract high-paying audience. Next was, we will only speak in English.
Yes.
There's a very, a strategic way that we have approached the channel that we are running is that we're going to do English. And a lot of people have asked us multiple times on multiple occasions that why don't you do Hindi? Right? And maybe it'll come at some point in time, maybe we'll do multiple other channels that has Hindi, but the reason behind it was the problem that we were trying to solve was, listen, we need to target the top 1%, top 5%, top 13% of India to be able to, use that distribution because, believe it or not all viewership is equal, both in India, both outside of India, it doesn't matter. And when we approached that, so the idea behind it was not that, hey, listen, we are going to have the best editing game. No.
Yeah.
We're trying to solve a problem, which is top 10% of India. How do we attract them? The way we're going to be attracting them is being really high value production. Another filter toward that is going to be English, blah, blah, so on and so forth. Right? That's the problem. That is the approach as an editor that you need to have. And if you're able to do that, if you're able to understand that, hey, okay, because this is something that we feel, right? When we started the first few cohorts, one thing that constantly the kids started asking was, आप वो transition कब सिखाओगे? When are you gonna show us the Sam Colder transition? When am I gonna see the preset?
When am I going to learn that color grading? Oh my God!
And the way, like orange and teal.
Teal look, exactly.
That kind of looks. And although that's beautiful and that's how you kind of learn, I also learned by copying 100 different guys. But it took us 7 years because that was our approach. Had that not been our approach, we probably would have been able to be in the position that we currently are and much faster.
I agree.
So what I'm trying to get at is don't just stop being technical. If you truly, as an editor, want to make money consistently, look for problems that you can solve as an editor or using the skill of editing for whatever. For example, let's say there's let's take Ocus's Kirana store, right? Ocus's Kirana store needs to make more money. How will you do that? Our easiest way, if I am an editor, would be, and I'm presuming you're an editor who's getting graduated from cohort. Because in cohort, the approach we take is very different than any other editing cohorts out
Yes.
there. Actually, there are no editing cohorts, editing courses out there. Right? Editing courses are very hyper specific and okay, learn Premiere Pro.
Yeah.
Or you want to learn After Effects, here's a different course. You want to learn video production, here's a different course. You want to learn script writing, here's a different course. You want to learn Photoshop, here's a different course. Right? In fact, the way we approached it was, I'm going to give you the entire thing in the one cohort. In 3 months, I'm going to make you learn entirety of this. Now, obviously, the result of that is, the placements are crazy.
Agreed.
We have the highest placement rate in the country.
Yeah.
Like nobody is even close.
Dude, I'm like literally IITs don't have that kind of placement.
Yeah, it's insane. And we are not saying this because we want to promote the cohort.
Yeah.
We are not even taking the admission of cohort anytime soon. Like when this video goes out, you won't be able to apply. So this is not for the promotion of cohort.
Yeah.
Right? We are not like boasting ourselves. But it's true. It's insane.
We've seen the data, and like when actually he talks about it, right? Like when he's saying that, okay, we teach you every single thing.
Yeah.
It's not for the sake of us making money also.
Yeah.
It's for the sake of, because these people actually think that, okay, become, like as you said, right? Like you have to go to every single course to learn one particular thing. And why did we combine all of that? Because at the end of the day, being a specialist, especially on YouTube, if you're starting out, I think it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Right? And
I feel like it's in general very bad idea. I've always been, the entire life has been a generalist. And especially how AI is coming up.
Yeah.
You being a specialist does not give you that kind of edge anymore.
I agree.
Like if you were a beautiful designer and you were incredible, you would be able to, let's say you're producing something that's value is 10. I have never designed in my entire life. I can use AI and still produce 5. Right?
I agree.
So the difference, and there's something called diminishing marginal utility.
Yes.
Right? After a point in time, the difference between 5 and 10, the difference between money becomes incredible, but the value between that is not that high. Right?
Can you explain what
diminishing marginal utility is? Basically a 30,000 phone and a 80,000 phone does not have zameen asman ka farak. Right? It's not a difference like crazy. Like my iPhone can shoot videos, yes, but so can a OnePlus.
OnePlus, yeah, sure.
And in terms of utility, in terms of pure utility, OnePlus probably stands higher because it gives you the most amount of bang for the buck, right? And in terms of in this current day and age, because of AI, the difference between the 5 and 10 will reduce quickly. So if yesterday a designer used to charge, let's say, 1 lakh, because I can do the same with the help of AI and I can produce, let's say, a value something 5, I can charge 25,000 and the person will most probably choose me because I'm consistently be able to, and I'm not putting in that kind of effort and I'm much faster. But if you're a generalist who understands bunch of things on a bunch of level, and it need not be in the depth, because to be honest, the way you live, the age and day and age currently we live in, if tomorrow I really want to get good at color grading, it's not that difficult. Even with somebody who has a disability, like I'm colorblind, blind, like I have deuteranopia. So it's incredibly difficult for me to be able to color grade and get good at color grading. But because of the day and age I live in, if I choose to be a specialist in it, it's probably gonna take me 6 months max.
Yeah.
Because I can just keep on watching videos, I can keep on delving in. But becoming a generalist is equally harder.
I agree.
Because, and it's just the way humans also learn things, or just the way currently we learn things. I used to not go to school a lot, right? My mother was the teacher, so I didn't need to go to the school a lot. But thanks to that, I had like this complete access to the internet, and I get bored very quickly. Right? I have ADHD, so I get bored very quickly, and that helped me become generalist overall. Right? Otherwise, what is the normal approach is you will keep going deep down. You need to understand it to the core, right? That's the approach a lot of people think. I personally believe, at least in the industry that I am in, be as much of a generalist as possible, be as much of a problem solver as possible, and you will see at one point, it'll be like, oh, you just want me to get you views. Okay, let's do this. Like tomorrow, let's say, like I'm a generalist. Another problem we need to solve, we need to go for the highest amount of TAM. Let's say we want to make a channel that's 10 million subscribers. The way we will approach is not going to be the same way we approached AV. we won't go for the highest production value. We
Yeah.
won't, it'll be volume.
Yeah.
The problem solving entirely will be different, but I'm still gonna be using editing as a skill to maneuver and go to and solve that problem. That is an approach that is incredibly rare in this industry. That it's very rare. Like today, like if you go to, and by the way, editing is a very new skill,
Yeah.
essentially, like at least in the industry.
Let's
right?
actually, you know what, like as we've jumped into that topic, let's actually define what editing is and what editing for YouTube and all of these other platforms that are coming up is. You know, let's define it, because at the end of the day, what people think is, whenever they enroll into any course, or if they want to become an editor, it's not very clear.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you call me to editor hai, if are you an editor? What kind of editor are you? Do you edit films? Do you edit YouTube videos? Do you edit, you know, do you
Indie
color
movies,
grade?
do you do commercials? What do you do?
So we need to set up at least a simple definition, or maybe, you know, give the audience some context as to like what do we mean by the word editing.
Yeah.
Right? I would like you to go first.
No, it's very simple. The way I think of editing is still like, even today when we teach in our cohort in this way, I always like, I'm a gut editor.
Yeah.
Right? The essence of the things I try to teach in the cohort in itself is, I'm gonna help you develop your gut. I'm gonna help you develop your core values, your fundamentals, so that tomorrow whatever comes your way, you can do it. Like generalist. That's what we. So my term of editing is like, you solve problems through the means of editing. That's all. That's what I try to teach. And what I was trying to say previously was, editing is such a new profession. It has existed for a lot of period of time, right? But most editors always existed in this hyper media group industries like Bollywood, like Hollywood, or like, you know, Kannada TV shows or TV shows in general, right? That's where this has existed. And the way those guys approached editing was subsequently different than the way YouTubers or the way we edit videos. The way they used to do it was, it'll be like a full story arc and there will be a payoff at the end.
Yeah.
Right? It's gonna be a slow burner. And towards the end, you will get that payoff. That's something that Quentin Tarantino does still to this day. That's his format.
I think every filmmaker does it.
Yeah, but that's the only kind of film that are worth seeing. That's the only kind of stories that are worth telling. But thanks to the way the amount of freedom YouTubers were given, we were allowed to do these kind of wide range of experiments. Like Netflix still does not give you the kind of data that YouTube does. Like Netflix won't tell you what the CTR of your YouTube videos are, or whatever this is. It won't tell, even if you were the star, even if you were the director or the creator, Netflix won't tell you the amount of views it pulled. Netflix won't tell you the amount of views it pulled. But YouTube does. And it allowed us to bring this new essence of storytelling where the payoff is right in the middle. Like if you watch any, let's say Ryan Trahan video, or let's say back in the day, even in 2014, 2015, when the, I don't know how many of you guys will remember this, there was a prank age on YouTube.
Yes, I was part of that.
Fousey Tube and all these people.
Oh my God, crazy.
And the way those guys used to start video in itself used to be like, hey, wait, and somebody's gonna get hit or something gone wrong, or police was called and stuff like that. If that was a film, if that was a movie, that part will not be shown until the very end of the video, of the movie. But here we have to like kind of
set an expectation, right?
Yeah, we have to
hook the crowd.
Yeah, we have to hook the crowd.
Yeah,
like we have to sell. Like, hey, listen, you've clicked on the video, and this is gonna happen in the video. That is why my video is worth watching. Please watch. So we approach editing so differently now that it has changed the entire game. And now editors, like back in the day, editors used to make quite a bit of money, but they used to only make money if they were part of this, either the Kannada TV shows and Hollywood. Otherwise, editing was not.
It's not a glorified thing.
Yeah, it was not as common. It was not. Like if you were a good editor, this was something that I was talking to Ashish Chanchalani way back. He was like, and he was talking to me if I have somebody who's with a good connect of editing. And I was like, how come you are struggling with an editor, bro? You are at such a scale. And you also don't have a money problem. How are you struggling? And he's like, bro, Okus, you don't. This is way back before we even started the cohort and stuff. He's like, bro, Okus, you don't understand. If there's a good editor, he will just go to Bollywood. He won't stay here. There's no way I'll be able to pay him the amount of money he makes in Bollywood.
And I also think that he wouldn't understand the way Ashish makes those videos.
But now, thanks to the rise of social media, thanks to the way Instagram is popping up, thanks to the way people, businesses, and everybody around in the world are realizing the amount of value just content creation holds,
Yeah.
that I do need an editor. Like all of a
Yes.
sudden, editing has become such a like, if you were an editor, let's say even 10 years ago, and you didn't edit in movies, people would look at you weird.
Yeah.
Like they'll be like, what do you mean? So you do commercials? And you'd be like, no, I actually edit YouTube videos. And they'd be like, what do you mean? What do you
happened
mean?
with me before.
Like, it doesn't make sense. But now, all of a
Yeah.
sudden, every single editor has like, oh, you're an editor. Would you like to edit for me? Do you? What kind of videos can you show me? Or do you have a portfolio? Oh, okay. It's immediate business talks.
I think after 2015, like after the rise of this Indian creators, I've seen so many editors come out there, like especially like during our cohorts also,
Yeah.
when the COVID pandemic hit and all of that other stuff happened. I feel the influx of editors, or probably the demand of editors, was so much that, because at the end of the day, creators were reaching their audiences.
Yeah.
But the only problem was they were the ones editing.
Yeah.
The creators were editing.
Essentially, yeah.
But now what has happened is they are like, I want to scale.
Yeah, building a team is like the default.
Yeah.
It is a default. But still, so many YouTubers are struggling with finding beautiful editors. And this is something that, like, the way editors approach, and this is again comes back to the r/editor post that
Yeah.
we were talking about, is like, the market does not understand that I'm not a motion designer. The market does not understand. I am doing such a good job for this this YouTuber, but he's not able to understand. If that is the problem that you're consistently facing, then it's not the YouTuber who's in the wrong, or it's not the market that's in the wrong. It's you.
Agreed.
You need to upgrade your skills, your mindset, and your workflow to a point where you are able to solve the problems. Because the market is not, there is no market for the kind of editing you're looking for. Not anymore. Even in Bollywood,
Yeah.
the entire game has changed. So for you to be like, no, I do this and this is techniques and this, that, nobody's looking for it. I don't care. I don't know. I don't care. And I'm not even going to dive deep into it as a creator, as a business, as an entrepreneur, as an owner of a channel, whatever. I'm just going to give you the video and I'm going to ask you for your reliability and be like, can you give me this? This is what I want. And
Don't you think, and sorry to cut you,
Yeah.
don't you think the rules that were set up, especially for editors and for films, that has been broken now?
Yeah, completely. I believe,
And that is the main reason why people are struggling, because they're thinking, okay, haan, meko jaake rules follow karna padega.
Yeah,
I need to go follow the
Yeah.
rules, right? But at the end of the day, there are no rules.
not anymore. The way social media is rising, the way content creation is evolving, and it's evolving at an incredibly fast rate. You can't make the same videos that you used to do a year ago. You can't. Right? And I keep on throwing this quote around all the time, that everything that was to be created has already been created. So now for you to stand out, you need to do something extreme or something different, or you need to create outlier videos. Right? And it's the same when it comes to editing. You need to be an outlier. You can't be like, hey, listen, I follow the rules, I do the techniques, I do this, that, and therefore pay me more. And if that's the only thing you're doing, if you're just going to be following rules, then the way you won't be able to adapt to the way social media is rising.
Yes.
And that is what you really need to do. You need to really shift the way you look at things from an editor perspective to a problem solver perspective. Okay. And the approach is very unorthodox. And this is something that I teach my team of editors as well. Like when we started and we were trying to solve a bunch of problems, the approach was like, it was very traditional approach, right? For example, one of the approaches was like, we don't have great PCs. This is way back when we were starting the company. We didn't have great PCs. And the traditional approach would be, okay, let's spend money on PCs. But we didn't have money.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody knows the kind, like, we don't make the kind of money. Like AV does not make, we still don't take brand deals.
Yeah.
So the way we solved the problems were completely different. We started, not a lot of people know this. The way the videos we produce, the kind of videos we do now, were actually a way we were trying to solve problems, because we did not have amazing PCs to edit that on that level. So we were like, okay, let's use these images. Let's use this collage art kind of editing style to solve this and still try and figure out how we can produce higher videos, high quality videos. And that's how we were able to reach. Still to this day, we use Canva
Yeah.
to create a lot of like either assets or animations or the way we storyboard things, right? And that came from a perspective that we need to solve that problem. And we landed on this something completely unique, something so creative that still hasn't been done in India. I mean, a lot of people are trying to copy, but
Yeah.
they're not able to catch up. And that's because our game, our way we approach things is so different. Our game is not that we want to create the best videos. It's just always solving for problems.
Yeah.
We create really high production videos. But the goal is to gain distribution. If tomorrow the rules of the game changes and it turns out the top 1% of India or top 10% of India is watching vlogs, we're gonna shift to that. It's not because we are like, none of us here will get categorize ourselves as we are editors or we are this or we are cameramen. We're just problem solvers who have these general sets of skills. Tomorrow if vlog needs to come, we're gonna figure out a way to solve that problem as well. And that is what like I think we've said this some 10,000 times in this podcast itself, but that is the approach that is gonna get you money. Nothing else is gonna get you money. You can try. You can try. I know for a fact so many people are trying. But so if tomorrow you need to solve a problem and that requires After Effects to be learned, you should.
You should.
If tomorrow you need to solve a problem that you need to learn Photoshop, you should. But become a generalist. The approach should not be that I'm going to be the best motion designer in the world, because the tools are so easy nowadays that you can fill that gap very easily. There are ways to fill that gap. And that is where your unique creative problem solving abilities come.
So basically when we started solving problems, right, we also made sure that we keep time in our heads.
Yeah.
Right? Because what has happened is, like, this is my personal experience, and you know about this like quite well about me. I came from, obviously the film background.
Yeah.
Right? I came from there. I was like, no, every single shot should look perfect. Every single shot should look like this, look like that. Right? And the amount of time that I used to take to set up one shot was like insane.
Yeah.
But now, because of the tech or because of, me just thinking about, okay, I have to be efficient. Based on that, I find out faster ways to do something. Right? And that has helped me a lot, to be honest. Now, I can push out the same quality video in less than 1 hour. That used to take me 3 to 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Right? So,
and it's because of the North Star that you're going down the route of like, okay, I want to solve problem.
Yeah.
And this problem solving is not that I have to prove myself and create the best shot in the world.
Yeah.
The problem I have to solve is that I have to get this video out by Monday.
Yes, exactly. So we were like, for me also, I was always a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
You know this quite well. I was like, no, arey, ye frame barabar nahi, isko barabar karo.
Yeah.
Right? But at the end of the day, now I realize, why were we doing that? Right? Why were we trying to push for it? Because at the end of the day, we would have lost out on, that distribution that we were actually getting.
Yeah.
Right?
So many opportunities we would have lost out on. We don't know. Even back then, the video quality was not as high as currently, because now we have an entire team. But even back then, our videos were out there. Like, it was really good. It was an outlier video because we had to create an outlier video.
Yeah.
But that was not the goal. The goal was not that we हमको outlier video create करनी है. The goal was not that we need to stand out. The goal that we need to produce video, we need to get the distribution. This is just a means to
we need the numbers.
Yeah.
We have a goal. We need the numbers.
And if everybody is able to just understand the message behind this podcast, I think you will be able to really help your career out. I think you will be able to grow much faster. You will be able to make more money. You will become much more skilled as an editor. You'll become something that market demands today, and always understand that you give what market demands. You can't just give and expect like, hey market, why are you not demanding? Why are you not demanding? That's not how it works. That's just not how it works. It's never going to be how it works. In trading, there's like, you need to be the student of the market.
Yes.
Right? If anybody has ever traded in stock, crypto, whatever, you know that you need to be the student of the market. Here as well, you need to be the student of the market.
As you said that we actually laid this entire thing down into like, we broke it down piece by piece. Let's actually take a scenario, right? Of, say, for example, if there's another guy like that who actually posted on Reddit, saying that, yes, this is the problem that I'm facing.
Yeah.
How do I tactically solve it?
I think first and foremost, this is just something I would personally do as well.
Yeah.
And then again, not a promotion, but I would actually join the cohort because at least in editing terms, because you will given the very strong foundation and you'll have that general understanding of everything. You'll understand YouTube, you'll understand, because we also prepare for
Yes.
like client, like how do you do interviews, what kind of approach you need to have. These kind of thoughts that I've given on the podcast has already been given to the cohort students. So that is some first approach I would do. I'll join a cohort, I'll get the fundamental set of skills that'll put me in that, you know, and then from there on, I would start understanding how I, like, the best way I would do it for me to be able to get more clients, I would start creating content myself. Because even if after I've just done cohort, if I start creating content, that becomes my portfolio.
Yes.
And it's much easier for you to get a client by sharing a video, by sharing your social media presence, than by sharing a CV. It's like just 10 times easier.
Plus, you have skin in the game, basically.
Yeah. It just makes sense. Like the moment I see, oh, you have tried and you've failed and you've gained 1,000 views or whatever, I'll be like,
That's a good
perfect, you
sign.
know.
Yeah.
You know, come in. That's it. I don't even need to look at anything else. Even today, if any editor out there, like for example, one of our really good editors, his name is Shashank. He used to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Used to do editing. He used to get 200, 300 views, but he was really good. And I could understand that, oh, you've tried, fallen on your face, tried again and learned. Beautiful, come in. So if that is the approach that you take, I think you will be able to solve for 99% of the things.
Just to add to his, to his points, basically just expose yourself to various different things that's happening in the market, right? Don't just get stuck to one. Like when people say, okay, I'm going to make gaming videos, guys, like everything, as he says, right? Like everything has to be created on everything that has been created on the internet has already been created. What was the quote again?
Yeah.
Was that the quote?
Everything that has to be created has already been created.
Already been created, right? So I think you should expose yourself to various different things. Try combining two niches, try combining two different styles, try combining, like at the end of the day, like, when we say, right, creativity is never original. Creativity is always remixed, right? So I guess once you expose yourself to various different things, that will become your environment. Once that becomes your environment, you will be like, you will always be there saying that, okay, what's happening in the market? Because at the end of the day, some people don't know where to start, right? So this is one of the ways.
Yeah.
Go expose yourself to something that you've not watched before, right? Maybe go watch a vlog, maybe go watch a video by some, MIT courseware, how they've done the video. It's pulled millions of views, right? But at the end of the day, it's all about you exposing yourself. It's all about you creating the environment and you leveling up every single day, right? If that doesn't happen, it's going to be very hard for you.
Yeah.
Right. So that was, on that note, let's end the podcast. This was like absolutely freaking amazing. We want to do more of this because at the end of the day,
hopefully more consistently this
yeah,
time.
I really want to do it consistently. Obviously, let us know in the comments
if there are any other topics that you
want us to talk about. Yeah. And yeah, let us know what you thought about the episode. And please don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you guys later. We will see you guys later. Bye.